Numbers on the federal budget are due out this week in Washington. The deficit, consumer spending, and unemployment. What will they tell us about our economic recovery? Gene Marks, president of the Marks Group and columnist for the New York Times and Forbes magazine, is here. Hey, Gene, thanks for coming in.
Hey, Joyce, glad to be here.
So what kind of news are you anticipating from the federal deficit front first?
Well, I'll tell you this much. With the states having money coming into their coffers, I think they should be banking it for a while, because this week there's going to be some numbers coming out by the federal government that's really going to give us some indication where the federal deficit is going. It's still going up. I mean, we're 7 months into the year, and we are expecting the Treasury Department will give us the final numbers on Wednesday of an $871 billion deficit through the first 7 months of this fiscal year, which is almost getting up to what my credit card bill is. So where we stand right now with that deficit is that it's still $70 billion above what it was last year, and it really sets the stage for that big budget battle that's coming up. I do have good news for you, though, Joyce, on that. The deficit actually this month it's not as high as we were expecting it to be. So because of that, the whole debt ceiling debate, we were going to need to raise the debt ceiling sometime in May.
Right.
That's been pushed back, hopefully until early August. So it does give a little bit of leeway for Republicans and Democrats and Treasury Secretary Geithner to have that conversation. So that is a little bit of good news.
Gene, I've always wondered, how do you measure out the consumer spending numbers when we, like this past month, had such a big jump in the gas prices and food prices?
Isn't that unbelievable? Like you hear like that inflation is so low, and in fact this week the consumer price index is coming out and the producer price index is coming out, and they're still going to show inflation really on the low side, maybe between 2 to 3% on an annual rate, and that's what the Fed is expecting it to be. And yet here we are, we're spending all this money at the gas pumps, our food prices are going up. You know what the answer is, Joyce? It's food. No, not food. It's wages. What I mean by wages is that most people are still not getting those wage increases that really pump up that inflation rate. And why is that? Because the unemployment rate is still high. It's still up around 9%.
Wow.
So it's supply and demand. Employers, and I'm one of them, we can get away with hiring people and still keeping our wages under control, really not bumping them up a lot. So if we're not increasing wages by a whole lot, the inflation rate doesn't go up as much as you would expect.
Wow. So speaking about what we're spending things on, what about the trade numbers? Better, worse?
Yeah, trade numbers are also expected to be released this week, and they're going to be about the same as they were last month. We're still in a deficit of about $47 billion. So again, that affects our foreign currency, the value of our dollar, and our overall budget deficit as well. So that's not expected to be anything that much better than it's been in the past.
And we talked about unemployment. So what needs to happen here? I mean, if people are not getting the salaries that they need to stay on top of there, we're still feeling so much pain at the pump, at the grocery store, pretty much everywhere you go. What needs to happen?
Yeah, well, people need to be hiring more. Employers like me need to be growing. And we're not, and I'm one of those people that are still not hiring more people because the growth still is not there. It's interesting, Joyce. I mean, last week we saw, some good job numbers that were more jobs that were created, yet at the same time, unemployment claims went up a lot more than what we were expecting them to be. This week, Thursday, is another big number. It's our weekly unemployment claims. If they keep going up, that's just not a good sign for the economy, and that's not what economists and what the government want to see. So we really have to keep our eye out on that number. That'll be on Thursday.
Gene. All right, Gene, get those salaries up. Come on now, pay people.
I'll work on it, Joyce.
Big ducks. Big bucks.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Gene. Good to see you.
Good seeing you, too.
All right.